SNESdrunk.
Quoi? Le France a aussi ses propres jeux sous licence? Pardon my French, but this here is Super Dany, and it's a Super Famicom game that was only released in France and the Netherlands. And it was developed by Cryo Interactive, the same folks that later went on to make Time Cop. Well, that doesn't bode well. Actually, that's not totally fair, because Cryo made some truly weird and interesting PC games around this time like Dune, Commander Blood, and Mega Race, the latter being known for its Sega CD port where you might have seen this guy.
Hi, I'm Lance Boyle, and people often wonder if I'm real.
Unfortunately, however, Super Dany isn't quite as insane as Mega Race, and instead it's just another licensed platformer. And what is Dany the mascot for? Dannon Yogurt, of course. Hey, maybe it's not all bad. I mean, there are some okay corporate licensed games out there, like Cool Spot, Mick Kids, and, I guess the Chester Cheetah games are pretty inoffensive, and that's about the same category I'd put Super Dany in. You get a health meter and 3 continues to get through 5 levels that are split up into 3 or 4 stages each, with no saves or passwords. But hey, there is a semblance of effort that's evident here, since you play as 3 different characters, and you can switch between them, just like you can in a game like Lost Vikings. Dany shoots projectiles, Matilda does a cartwheel and has a higher jump, and Marius is the smallest character that's used to crawl into places the other 2 characters cannot. When you switch between them, they stay frozen where they are. The goal of each stage is to find and activate every switch, and all the typical puzzle platformer stuff is here, like keys to unlock doors, potions to grant you health, items like a helmet to avoid flying enemies, and a flute to put other enemies to sleep, just to name a few. It's B to jump, you hold Y to run, and it's X to use your item. Here's an example of how this game is laid out right from the get-go. You use Dany to destroy enemies until you get to a dead end, like this sword here that won't go away. So you head back the other way, destroy this spider here, and flip this switch, and the sword disappears. Next, switch to Matilda, and she flips her way past the falling floor before... you mean you can't just duck through here? Yes, you have to flip to Marius and get his ass up here just to get that helmet. Really, all in all, Super Dany isn't all that bad, especially if you like Lost Vikings style puzzle games like this, but the big problem here is the controls. The jump sucks for all 3 characters. Sometimes you grab onto ledges, and sometimes you don't. Some of the levels aren't all that well designed either, and it's real easy to soft lock yourself where you have to restart a stage all the way over. There's nothing too complicated here either, it's mostly just clear out as many enemies as you can with Dany until you reach a dead end, and then use the other 2 characters to do whatever needs to be done to get to the next switch. I wish I could tell you more about this game, but the manual is all in French, and Google Translate can only help me out so much. But I can tell you the story. It's Dany and his 3 friends that get sucked into the television by the evil Dr. TV, and they have to fight their way back using the power of Dannon Yogurt, I guess. And they have to rescue their friend Norbert along the way. I should mention quickly that while this game was originally made in the 50Hz PAL format, there is an NTSC patch out there that you can find that makes the gameplay just a hair faster, if that's important to you. Sadly, that's the only patch available for this game because, man, if there's anything ripe for a ROM hack, it's this one, as long as it leans into the whole yogurt theme and you can play as Jamie Lee Curtis on her quest for the perfect bowel movement. So yeah, Super Dany is like the Teddy Bridgewater of PAL-exclusive Super Nintendo games. It's not terrible. It's a decent enough game that'll kill an afternoon for you, and while it's not all that challenging and the controls can be frustrating at times, I personally will always make time for Lost Vikings-style puzzle games, even if they're powered by Dannon Yogurt. And that is all for now. I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.